So, for those of you that live under a rock, the Backrooms got a movie. Created and directed by Kane Pixels. I'm honestly really excited for the movie. This year has been great for movies, honestly. Project Hail Mary was really good, and I don't fully remember why, but at a certain point of the movie, I was like, dang, that's just my life. That's literally me. I'm Ryan Gosling. I like to drive. Yes. Anyways, like any good fandom, the movie's caused some controversy. The biggest one I'm aware of is whether or not the Backrooms should have entities or not. And this is probably going to be a really short video with, milquetoast opinions, or who knows. But I'm mostly just going to give my 2 cents on the matter of it all. So you have 2 sides to the argument, yes and no, obviously. Those that want the entities in the Backrooms and those that don't want them. Those that want it to be purely psychological and those that want survival horror. Each with their own arguments and counter-arguments. There are better videos out there that can explain it all much better than I can, since I'm not too into the Backrooms as others are. And it feels weird, like I'm trying to be the arbiter of the fan domain, that I feel like I'm not as involved with, unlike FNAF. But as a sort of TLDR, basically, some people like the entities in the Backrooms because it kind of makes the danger real and fills up the place nicely. And people like making the lore, and all the different levels they made up from all the liminal photos found. And if it were empty, then it would just be a walking simulator until you die from dehydration. While on the other hand, you have people that don't like all the entities because it cheapens the horror by having it too overcrowded with things, that are overly explained. It tells you how to defeat it or how to avoid them, and I think that's generally better to have it more psychological. And then you have all those in between. Honestly, I think that both parties are wrong on whether there should or shouldn't be entities. If we go back to the original post, which I'm pretty sure you all know, the post implies the possibility of something being there. It doesn't outright state that there are or that there aren't. Like, some people take it to mean that there's definitive proof that there are things in the Backrooms. While I've heard that the sounds you hear are hallucinatory from you going mad, and while both may be fine, I honestly think that it's better to keep it unknown. The terror of not knowing whether something is lurking just around the corner in this vast labyrinth of emptiness, I feel like it works a lot better than outright knowing. Like, a lot of these places are maintained. Or at least most that I've seen. Like, that was the whole thing about the Backrooms. They deal with liminal spaces. A part of the liminality of the places you see in the photos are places that should have people. Like, as if they all just walked away into another room and they'll be back any minute. There are a lot of better videos explaining what a liminal space is and what emotions it would bring about. Solar Sands is a really great video on liminal spaces. I recommend watching that one. I even tried my hand in photographing them myself. But yeah. One of the most important things that originally made the Backrooms what it was its liminality. The threshold of time and space. You're in a place that looks familiar, but it's just off. And empty. There should be people here. There's signs of someone being here. With how well maintained things are, that it almost feels like you're trespassing. And at any moment, someone or something is going to show up. And then you're going to be in trouble. Kind of like the feeling you get when you watch something that you feel like you weren't supposed to. And that at any moment, men in suits are just gonna burst through your door and through your windows or walls, and they're gonna take you away. Like, the anxiety of not knowing if something is there with you or not is in part what made the Backrooms scary. I feel like it very much deviated from that. Like, if you look through the wiki, you see a whole bunch of levels created by the community, most of them taken from famous liminal photos. Like, you have some levels that are safe spaces with no entities, and you could just chill. You have the adage of almond water and outposts and colonies. It very much feels like the SCP community, foundation. Except it feels more like a survival guide than anything else. Which has its allures, but it kinda does cause the mystery of the Backrooms to fade into the background. Which, I feel like it had to. Because those feelings you get with liminal photos really only work when you first see them. Like, the effectiveness only is there for a couple of viewings until you become familiar with the photos. Because then they're just another photo of a place you know too well. when it's supposed to be a place that seems just barely familiar. It's kind of like a jump scare. The first time it might have gotten you, but after that the impact fades, and depending on how well utilized and executed it is, it might extend the effectiveness of it. But ultimately, the jump scare just isn't frightening anymore. But if we're speaking about the movie, I feel like the Backrooms as it is today is just kind of a lot to take in. And it doesn't capture what the Backrooms used to be about, which I feel like should be the priority. Also, I feel like the movie would be too overcrowded and just be a walking simulator trying to show off as many levels and as many entities as they can. And when you try to do that, you're not going to be able to do much. Especially since everybody's going to want their favorite level to be shown, their favorite entity to be shown as well. So I feel like if they're going to try to do that, they're not going to be able to the plot's going to be lacking. I feel like the concept of no clipping into different levels just kind of diminishes the Backrooms. Like, instead of this impossibly giant complex full of a combination of so many different ideas that it seems impossible to escape, it just becomes one container next to another. Like, I like the idea of all of them being connected together. Like, you just have to stumble upon and walk through the right door, then you're on a different level. I feel like Kane's Backrooms is a great starter for people to get into the Backrooms. Although it's quite different from the wiki and stuff, I feel like it better aligns with the original idea. Although we don't fully know what it's about, because the series is still ongoing. But some of its themes of memory, I feel like better connects with what the Backrooms was, and with the whole concept of liminality. And it's more simplified so people can have a better understanding of what the Backrooms are in concept. Because not everybody is a gamer and knows what no clipping is. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Yeah, I play video games. His version of the Backrooms also has entities, albeit a small amount. So you're never guaranteed to stumble upon one, but when you do, all you can do is run.